Hello, dear friends. How are you? Hope you are doing well. So, welcome back again in the series of the most credible English literature multiple choice questions, part 9. So, in this session, we'll again cover 100 more MCQs. Keep in mind that previously we have been covering 800 MCQs in 8 different sessions. So, if you haven't watched them, or if you have missed some of them, so please do watch them because these MCQs are very much helpful as far as your preparations are concerned. So on the other hand, if you are new on our channel, do subscribe it for updates. Also like it and share with your other friends. Do comment as well and press the bell icon for the upcoming video sessions. So let's start our today's session. Here we are with MCQ number 801. Who created the historical romance genre? Answer is novelist Georgette Hare. 802. The Riddle of the Sands, which was published in 1903, is an early example of answer is spy novel. So spy novel is basically a genre of novel. 803. The best-selling book series in the history of English literature is answer is Harry Potter fantasy series. 804. Who is the writer of Harry Potter fantasy series? Answer is J.K. Rowling. 805. Who originated the word assassination? Answer is William Shakespeare. So William Shakespeare also originated or coined so many words, including assassination. 806. Elise Munro became the first Danish to win the Nobel Prize in Literature in 2013. So Elise Munro basically he was the first Canadian writer who got the Nobel Prize in English Literature in 2013. 807. Wol Soyinka won the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1986. She belongs to answer is she belongs to Nigeria. 808. Play Waiting for Godot is the best example of answer. So Waiting for Godot is basically an absurd play. 809. A group of middle class British playwrights and novelists of 1950s was termed as so they were termed as angry young men. 810. T.S. Eliot's Dorothy Richardson and Ezra Pound were the writers who belonged to so these writers belong to postmodernism age. 811. Who coined the term stream of consciousness? So it was Alexander Graham who actually coined the term stream of consciousness in 1855. 812. Even the darkest night will end and the sun will rise. Who said this? So it was Victor Hugo who said that even the darkest night will end and the sun will rise. 813. We know that we are but know not what we may be. Who said this? So it was William Shakespeare who said this. 814, Lord of the Flies is a work by, so Lord of the Flies basically is a novel written by William Golding. 815, in thriller writing, who created the very famous character of James Bond 007? Answer is Ian Fleming. So James Bond 007 is actually a spy series of novels. 816. Who among the following served as ambulance driver during World War One? So it was Ernest Hemingway who served as an ambulance driver during World War One. 1817. In which year Hemingway won Nobel Prize for novel Old Men and the Sea? So it was in 1954 that Ernest Hemingway won the Nobel Prize on his novel work Old Men and the Sea. 818 novel The Sound and the Fury has been written by, so this novel has been written by William Faulkner. 819, the Puritans was a movement that was mainly related with. So Puritan movement was actually related with the religious reforms in the Church of England. 820, named the first ever Asian who won the Nobel Prize in English literature in 1913. So it was Rabindranath Tagore. He became the first Asian to win the Nobel Prize in the field of English literature. 821, who introduced English sonnets into English literature? Answer is Sir Thomas Yeats. 822, what is called a group of lines in a poem? So any particular group of lines in a poem is called as stanza. 823, the particular feeling which a poet tries to convey through poetry is called mood. 824, a single row of words in a poem is called, any particular single row of words in any poem is called as verse, or even you may call it as line. 825, number and style of accented syllables in a line is called. So number of uh, number and style of accented syllables in any line are called as meter. 826, what is called the beat sound and feel of a poem? So beat, sound, and feel of a poem is called as rhythm. 827, words or expressions that do not have literal meanings are called. So they are called as figurative language, which do not have literal meaning but hidden meaning or different meaning other than the literal meaning. 828, words that have the same ending sounds are called. They are called as rhyme, same ending sound. 829, the truth, lesson, or a message about life in poetry is called as. So any truth, lesson, or message about life in poetry is called as theme. 830, Leo Tolstoy, one of very famous novel writers of all times, is from. So Leo Tolstoy, basically he was from Russia, a Russian novel writer. 831, who developed the rhyming scheme of English sonnets. So it was Earl of Surrey. Thomas Yate actually introduced the sonnet, as we earlier knew, but it was Earl of Surrey who developed the English rhyming scheme of sonnet. 832, which novel of John Ruskin Gandhi liked most? So it was Unto This Last, a novel by Ruskin liked by Gandhi. 833, Long Walk to Freedom is an autobiography written by Nelson Mandela, the former president of South Africa, freedom fighter, renowned freedom fighter. 834, The Kite Runner is the first novel written by Afghan American author named. So, Kite Runner is basically written by an Afghan and American author, and his name is Khalid Hosseini. 835, who coined the term stream of consciousness. So the term stream of consciousness actually was coined by William James. 836, who proposed the idea of art for art's sake. So it was Oscar Wilde. 837, the character flaw or the error of a tragic hero that leads to his failure is termed as hamartia. So hamartia was a particular term coined by Aristotle in his book Poetics. So hamartia means character flaw or the error made by tragic hero, which eventually causes to his failure or his death. 838. How many logics of tragedy Aristotle mentioned in his book Poetics? So logics, or you may also call it as species. So there are actually four species or logics introduced by the Aristotle in his book Poetics. So they include complex, suffering, character, and a spectacle. 1839, if a tragic hero becomes a victim of circumstances and social, psychological, religious incidents, Aristotle's, Aristotle calls this as misadventure. So instead of the tragedy, Aristotle called it misadventure. So any external incident or anything that happens externally and other than uh, hamartia. So Aristotle didn't call that tragedy. Instead, he called it as misadventure. So in particular circumstances, social circumstances you may call, or psychological circumstances, or even religious incidents, according to Aristotle, they cause misadventure rather than tragedy. 840, who wrote the essay Tragedy and the Common Man? So it was Arthur Miller. So in this particular essay, Arthur Miller disagreed with the opinion of the Aristotle regarding tragedy. 841, Arguments for a Theatre is the work of answer is Howard Barker. 842, The White Devil is a famous tragedy written by John Webster. 843, Anthony Powell wrote a series of novels, A Dance to the Music of Times. It consisted, consisted 12 volumes. 844, in which period television drama started in English literature. So television drama and even radio drama started in English literature during postmodernism period. For Whom the Bell Tolls is a work by, so For Whom the Bell Tolls is basically a novel written by Ernest Hemingway. 846, who said that the purpose of literature is to turn blood into ink. So it was T.S. Eliot who said that the purpose of literature is to turn blood into ink. 847, great literature is simply language charged with meaning to the utmost possible degree. Are the words of, so these are the words said by Ezra Pound. 848, the two most powerful warriors are patience and time. So Tolstoy wrote these words in. So according to Leo Tolstoy, two powerful warriors are patience and time, which he mentioned in his famous novel War and Peace. 849, which figure of speech appeals all five senses? So it is imagery, a figure of speech in which all five senses are appealed. 850, a reference to another person, character, idea, a work of literature is called allusion. 851, a major division in the action of play is called act. 852, who said this? Poetry is when an emotion has found its thoughts and the thought has found words. So it was Robert Frost actually who expressed his views regarding poetry. 853, if a book is well written, I always find it too short. These are the words of, so these are the words said by Jane Austen. 854, silence is a sleep that nourishes wisdom. This famous quote has been told by, so this famous quote has been told by Francis Bacon. Poetry is simply the most beautiful, impressive, and widely effective mode of saying things. So defined by, so these views regarding poetry have been said by Matthew Arnold. 856, a man can be destroyed but not defeated. This quote is taken from Hemingway's Old Man and the Sea. 857, in which of his dreams Shakespeare mentioned, in which of his dramas Shakespeare mentioned, Felity, thy name is woman. So it is Hamlet, very famous, or most discussed tragedy ever written by Shakespeare. 858, it is human to forgive divine. This famous quote was said by Alexander Pope is the answer. 859, and fill all fruits which ripens to the core. This line has been taken from Ode to Autumn, a very famous ode written by John Keats. 860, which poem of T.S. Eliot starts with April is a curious month? So it is Westland poem of T.S. Eliot, which starts with the line April is the cruelest month. 861. Name the major poets among metaphysical poets. So it was John Donne, who was the famous or most renowned metaphysical poet. Camel is a ship of desert is an example of. So camel is a ship of desert is an example of metaphor. I wandered lonely as cloud. Which figure of speech it is? So, I wandered lonely as a cloud is a line taken from Daffodil, a poem written by William Wordsworth. So I wandered lonely as a cloud is basically a simile because as is used. So 864 Selling to Byzantium is a poem written by. So Selling to Byzantium is a poem written by William Butler Yeats. 865 Gulliver's Travels by Jonathan Swift is the best example of. So basically, Gulliver's Travels is a satire, a social satire, even an allegory and irony. 866 A very short story that usually has 2 to 3 characters is called. So it is a fable, a type of short story which consists 2 to 3 characters. 867 Which rhyming scheme shall be used while translating Homeric hymns? So while translating Homeric hymns, Shelley used a specific rhyming scheme which is called as Otavarema. 868 John Duane, Don Juan is a satiric poem written by Lord Byron. 869 Which Victorian novelist was more interested in human aspirations and relationship rather criticizing society? So it was Thomas Hardy. He was more interested in human relationship and human aspirations rather than social issues as compared to other novelists of the Victorian era, particularly you may call it John Ruskin and others. So 870, who is commonly known as the national bard of Ayrshire in the Plomin poets. So it is Robert Burns, who is commonly known as national bard of Ayrshire and Plomin poets. 871, who is commonly known as the father of English criticism. So it is John Dryden, who is considered the father of the English criticism. Named the national poet of Scotland, it is Robert Burns. So Robert Burns is considered as the most discussed poet in the history of English literature after William Shakespeare. 873, who was the morning star of the Reformation period? So it was John Wycliffe. 874, who is considered as the father of English prose? So it is King Alfred the Great, medieval age actually prose writer. He is considered father of English prose. Dash is the bridge between Renaissance and Reformation. So it is Edmund Spenser, who is known as a Renaissance bridge between Renaissance and Reformation period English literature. Dash is considered as the great master of verse. So it is John Milton. He is considered the great master of verse because he had great mastery for verse writing. 877, who is very much famous being great mock heroic poets. So it is Alexander Pope, famous being the mock heroic poets. Who called Milton being the poet of Devil's Party? So it was William Blake who titled Milton as the poet of Devil's Party. Dash is considered as poet of childhood. So it is William Wordsworth. 880, who is known as the father of English essay, so none other than Francis Bacon. 881, lyrical ballads, a manifesto of the Romantic Age, opens with which poem of William Wordsworth? So it actually opens with William Wordsworth's poem, Tenton Abbey. So lyrical ballad manifesto, which is considered as the beginning of a Romantic Age or Romanticism in English literature. 882, how Ophelia, the heroine of Hamlet drama, dies. So Ophelia in Hamlet dies by drowning. So she drowns herself into the water. 883. In Shakespeare's tragedies, character is not destiny, but there is a character and destiny, is a remark by. So this remark was given by Bradley. 884. The Voyage of the Beagle was written by. So the Voyage of the Beagle was written by Charles Darwin. 885. Who said that I'm half sick of shadows? So it was said by Alfred Lord Tennyson. 886. On pathetic fallacy was written by. So on pathetic fallacy was written by John Ruskin. 887. Curb your magnanimity and be more of a poet. Who suggested this to Shelley? So it was John Keats who actually suggested that curb out your magnanimity and be more like a poet. 888. I count religion but a childish toy. In which of his plays Marlowe mentioned this? So it is the Jew of the Malta, where Marlowe actually mentioned that I count religion but a childish toy. 889. The Olive Tree is a collection of essays by. So it is the collection of essays written by Aldous Huxley. 890. The Hundred Years' War was fought between. Answer is England and France. It is also considered as Cold War fought between England and France. 891. During the period of 1455 to 1486, which famous war was fought? So during the period of 1455 to 1486, famous war, the War of Roses was fought. 892. Who wrote the first English comedy, Royster Doyster? So it was Nicholas Udall who wrote the first comedy in English literature, which is called as Royster Doyster. 893. Which was the first ever tragedy written in English literature? So its answer is Gorboduc. Gorboduc is considered as the first ever tragedy written in the history of English literature. 894. Who was the leader of University Wits? So it was Christopher Marlowe. He was the leader of the University Wits group. 895. Dryden's All for Love is based on which of Shakespeare's play? So All for Love, written by Dryden, is actually based on Shakespeare's play, which is called as Anthony and Cleopatra. So 896. Who is the hero of Spenser's Fairy Queenie? So King Arthur actually is the hero of the Edmund Spenser's Fairy Queenie. 897. Ben Jonson is better known for his. So Ben Jonson is mainly famous for his comedy of humors. 898. Who was the originator of the Oxford movement? John Cabell. So he was the originator of the Oxford movement. 899. How many lines a ballad stanza generally contains? So a ballad stanza usually contains 4 lines. 900 MCQ number. Edmund Spenser dedicated his Shepherd's Calendar to. So he had dedicated as Shepherd Calendar to Philip Sidney, and he had dedicated his Fairy Queenie poem to Queen Elizabeth. So that's all for today. Our today's session ends here. So see you in the next session, hopefully in a very short time. So before saying you goodbye, again I have a very polite request to you all that do subscribe our channel if you haven't subscribed it as yet. Also share it with your friends so that they may also get benefit from it. So that's all from today's session. So till the next session, a very nice time and see you very soon. It's goodbye.